Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. We are talking all about the Mears Connect shuttle service at the Orlando airport. This is gonna be a full review. So we're first gonna start with what Mears Connect is if you are unfamiliar with this service, and then I'm gonna share my personal experience with using Mears on my most recent trip to Walt Disney World. Before we dive in, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. Not only is it a free way to support my channel, but that way you can stick around for all of the fun Disney content I have coming very, very soon. I can't wait to share more, but let's dive into today's video. Okay, let's start by first going over what Mears Connect is, because I have gotten a couple of questions now that the Magical Express is gone with a little confusion. If you are already familiar with Mears Connect, go ahead and skip over this part and you can skip straight to the review and the my experience portion of the video, but let's start with what Mears Connect is. Okay, so Mears Connect is a shuttle service from the Orlando airport that offers transportation to the Walt Disney World resorts. Now, this also provides transportation outside of Disney World as well. So the Disney Springs hotel area, the Bonnet Creek hotel area, and you can always head to their website to see if Mears offers transportation to your hotel. But really anywhere you're wanting to stay in the Disney area, whether it's on-site or off-site, they do provide transportation there, which is really nice. The biggest thing to note, of course, is how much does this cost? So one adult is $16 each way, and the cost per child is $13.50 each way. So really affordable when you're comparing that to an Uber or private shuttle transportation. I will add too that Mears does offer an express service, which is now $250 round trip, but it does provide that private experience. You're not having to wait for other people to board your bus. You go directly to your resort. You're not making additional stops along the way. So it really just depends on what type of experience you're looking for and what your budget is. And I know there's been a little bit of confusion as to Mears Connect and if it's a new shuttle service. Where did the Magical Express go? Where is Mears Connect located now? So basically Mears Connect was the original company that Magical Express went through to provide this service. Disney has simply pulled their name out of the equation and it's just Mears Connect now. So it's in the exact same location. If you're familiar with where the Magical Express was, they actually have the exact same check-in desk area, the same lanes waiting for the buses. I mean, all of it looks exactly the same. It's just Mears Connect now. So I hope that answers a couple of questions, but let's move into the actual review portion of the video because I'm really excited to share my experience. So I made my Mears Connect reservation about 2 weeks prior to my trip, and I did book directly through the Mears website. I do know now that Disney offers this as an add-on service through their website, so you can actually book Mears Connect through Disney with your resort package, and I know it's an add-on, so that is an option as well, but I just went straight to the Mears Connect website. But once I received my confirmation, I was all set. And then 24 hours prior to my arrival time, I received another email confirmation with a QR code. And this confirmed my reservation and gave me my check-in code for when I arrived down at Mears Connect. And then once my flight landed, I loved that they did this. Once my flight landed, I got a text message with that same QR code. So I'm not having to scroll through my email to try to find this QR code in a PDF attachment or anything like that. I could pull it up directly from my phone. I love that you have access to that code through email and through text message. So I went straight to Terminal B. It's still on the same side, like I mentioned, same location. Went down to the bottom floor where transportation is offered and went straight back where I would normally go to get on the Magical Express. And I had my QR code all pulled up and ready to go, and I had someone scan in my code. They directed me to which line I would go wait in, and that was pretty much it. So the check-in process was really, really simple, and as you saw from that footage, there was almost no line, there was no one there, so the process moved really, really quick. And once I was in line, I did time how long I actually waited and how long I waited on the bus. So I'll share that here in a minute, but I will say before I made my reservation with Mears, I had heard some not so great reviews those first couple of weeks, people having some negative experiences, and I was a little nervous, but I knew I wanted to do this so that I could share the experience with you guys. And I'll go ahead and let you guys know I had an incredible experience. So again, I'll share more, but I did want to say that up front, that I had heard some negative things, but I was pleasantly surprised. But once I was in line, I waited approximately 8 minutes, not bad, before I had someone direct me to which bus I was gonna be getting on. And then once I was on the bus, I was actually the first one on the bus, so I knew that I was gonna be waiting a little bit, but it was only 11 minutes before we departed. So not long, very similar to the Magical Express, but I really had no issue with how long I waited. So I was really impressed, honestly. Once our bus was going, the one thing I did miss was the Disney feel of it. So that part was no longer there. They're not showing the Disney cartoons anymore. There's no Disney video showing. The bus driver isn't doing the countdown going under the sign. At least mine didn't. Some may still do that. And then there was a more general video about Orlando and some of the entertainment that city offers. So they did mention Disney World, but it wasn't a dedicated Disney video, if that makes sense. So it wasn't a bad bus experience, it just felt a little different. And then we did make quite a few stops. So I was staying at Bay Lake Tower, which was the furthest resort away from where we were stopping. So of course it made sense to stop along the way. We did stop at Port Orleans French Quarter. We then stopped at the Wilderness Lodge. Then we went across the street and stopped at the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian. And then I was the very last one on the bus, and we stopped back at Bay Lake Tower. So the total bus ride was just at 50 minutes. So that part took a little longer, and you really don't know how many stops you're gonna make until you're on the bus. You don't know who's gonna be getting on the bus with you. You know the area that you're going to and some of the resorts that you may stop at, but it really just depends on who is arriving at the same time as you and if they're staying in a resort nearby. So there's really no way to know if you're gonna be the last stop, the first stop, or if you're the only one on the bus. I've heard of that happening as well. I was able to chat with my bus driver, which was very interesting. I had a very enlightening conversation about Mears Connect and Magical Express with him. So he actually informed me that now that everything is switched over to Mears Connect, they're using an entirely new system that is all electronic and all online. Prior to that, Magical Express, all of these drivers used a clipboard system and a radio. For years and years, that is the system that they have used, and now they have moved over to an electronic system. So everything is so different for them, and they're having to learn an entirely new way of operating these buses. So all of those negative reviews that I had been hearing about people having to wait so long or buses not showing up, it all started to make sense in that moment. Because some of these drivers are having to learn an entirely new system, it makes sense that there's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning, and they're having to work out some of those kinks. But I think now that these drivers have had a few weeks to really learn this new system and switch over from this clipboard radio way of doing things to this electronic system, I think things are gonna move much more smooth. And I really think that a lot of those little hiccups of buses being late or not showing up, I think we're gonna hear less and less of that. So it really helped me understand some of those reviews that I had heard and a little bit of the disconnect there, and wondering, why am I having such a great experience and other people are having a less than great experience? So it really made sense. But I had a great conversation with the driver, and he was super, super great. And yeah, it was a great experience from the airport to Bay Lake Tower. Now let's talk about my departure from Bay Lake Tower back to the airport, because I did have a different, if not better, experience coming back. You do receive that same email confirmation 24 hours prior to your pickup time, and pickup time is 3 hours prior to your flight's departure, which is pretty standard for most shuttles in that area. And then if you're an international flight, it's gonna be 4 hours prior. So one thing I wasn't sure of was sometimes that 3-hour window can be 3 hours and 20 minutes. Sometimes it can be 2 hours and 50 minutes, or it may be 3 hours on the dot, but it really just depends what their route looks like and who they're picking up before or after. So my pickup time was actually 3 hours and 15 minutes before my flight's departure, and I was ready to go. And you do get a text with that same QR code leading up to your departure time, and it actually provides a link where you can track your bus driver. I love this and think it's so cool. So you can actually see where on the map they're coming, what other resorts they're stopping at, and if you're waiting in the hotel lobby, you can actually wait until you know that your bus has pulled up to walk out of the lobby. Whether it's hot or freezing cold, you don't have to stand outside under that little awning just waiting for your bus, not knowing where it is. I do love that they provide that link for you to track your bus. So my bus arrived a couple minutes ahead of schedule, and I walked right out and they were right there waiting on me. I mean, it was so easy. And my bus driver actually called me by name, which was really cool. So he can now see on this new system the names of everyone. I'm not sure if that was something that they didn't have access to on the Magical Express as bus drivers, but at least now I'm walking out and I see my bus driver say, "Bekah, hey." So that was kind of cool. It's just another really neat touch that I love about Mears Connect and this new system that they have. It was really neat. And this bus driver was so fun and hilarious. It was a very different experience than on the ride there to Disney than on the ride back, but we made one more stop over at the Contemporary, so just right across the street, and then we made our way to the airport. Now this bus driver did Disney trivia, he was making jokes, and I mean, it was just really fun, and he did his own little reverse countdown version when we, were leaving Disney. It was just really fun, and it was a very different experience. So he shared his story and that he'd been working with the Magical Express for years and years, and so it was really neat. And I guess it just depends on which driver you get and if they're feeling chatty, if they want to do trivia, or I don't know. But that was our experience coming back, and the ride back to the airport took about 30 minutes. And then surprisingly, I made it through the Orlando security within 15 minutes. That is the quickest I've ever made it through security, probably because it was a 9 p.m. flight, so it wasn't super packed, but I made it 2.5 hours early to my flight. So if you're wondering, is it gonna be enough time? It's probably gonna be enough time, you'll be fine. So that is pretty much my experience from start to finish, and I was so impressed. I absolutely loved Mears Connect. It was, I mean, just again, from start to finish, amazing. Because of the cost, I think this is a great option for solo travelers, number one, couples, or if you have a child under the age of 2, they're free. And then if your family is a little bit bigger, maybe 4, 5, 6 people, and you start adding it up, you may be better off taking an Uber. So you just kind of have to do the math and see what's going to make the most sense for your family, because this was a really great affordable option for someone like me as a solo traveler, or when I go with my husband, we have a 2-year-old, so it makes sense for our family, but it may not make sense if you have a larger family. So again, you just need to do the math and see if it makes sense. All right, well, that is my full review of the Mears Connect shuttle service at Walt Disney World. I hope this was helpful. I hope this answered a couple of questions or concerns you may have had, and let me know down below in the comments if you have any other questions. And I would love to hear your experience as well. If you have tried Mears Connect, let us know in the comments what your experience was. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.